At its root, the word is Niger, the Latin word for black. But as soon as enslaved Africans were brought to these shores, the word, pronounced with various accents and emphasis, was used to depict them not just as something derogatory, but as something not quite evolved from ape to human being. By examining this one word, we get an understanding of not only who we are, but who we have been and who we might become. For this two-syllable word and its evolution reveals much about American society.
There is some risk in attempting to isolate the idea of contemporary culture and comparing and contrasting it to early American culture. For me, it's an artificial distinction. I think it's more useful to look at this word and its usage as part of a seamless strand, really a seamless narrative that runs from the beginning, from before the beginning of the country to where we are now.
In 1619, settlers in Jamestown were already using the word to describe the enslaved blacks.
You will find that British redcoats, and this is well documented, used the N-word when they taunted the Revolutionary Army, because the idea was, you're so weak, you have to use to bolster your troops.
By the turn of the century, blacks had been freed from slavery for almost 50 years, but were second-class citizens in the North and lived in harsh segregation in the South. Lynchings were common. The 1915 silent film, Birth of a Nation, portrayed the white knights of the Ku Klux Klan, not as American-born terrorists, but as the defenders of white women, culture, and society.
But it wasn't just the Klan that used the term. The N-word permeated almost every aspect of pop culture and daily life, as if it had arisen from the national groundwater.
And then when you look at the best-selling songs of the 1920s and 30s, the equivalent of the Billboard's Hot 100, we might say, today, we're looking at songs that not only use throughout the lyrics, but have in the title. At the same time, I like to say you could stand in your kitchen during this period and you could do a slow 360 turn, and everywhere you turn, your eyes would land on the word. From your stove polish to the trade names for your fruits and vegetables, to the penny bank that your child has, to the board games that your child plays with, to the card games that the adults play in the parlor next to the piano with the songster sitting on it.
The nation loved to romanticize the Moonlight and Magnolias idea of the antebellum South, with Margaret Mitchell's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, Gone with the Wind, also becoming the most popular film in the nation's history. The book used the N-word repeatedly. But while Rhett was allowed to use profanity to tell Scarlett what he didn't give,
frankly, my dear, I don't give it.
The Hays office censored the word itself from the script.
But the nation was convulsing. The Supreme Court's striking down of school segregation in 1954, the slaying of Emmett Till in Mississippi in 1955, the Montgomery bus boycott later that same year, and the bombing of the Birmingham church in 1963. Were part of the massive change and social upheaval of the civil rights movement. In 1967, the reigning heavyweight boxing champion of the world, Muhammad Ali, refused to serve in the war in Vietnam. His reasoning set off a national firestorm.
And shoot them for what? They never called me. They never lynched me. They never put no dogs on me. They never robbed me of my nationality, raped and killed my mother and father. What, I'm going to shoot them for what?
The hopes and dreams of this movement led to a brash new message. Black was beautiful, baby, and you could say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. You could see this new sensibility in the Blaxploitation films of the early 1970s. Black anti-heroes began to embrace a bold new identity, not by disavowing the N-word, but by claiming it as their own.
It's the American dream.
But Blaxploitation flicks appeal mainly to black audiences. It took Richard Pryor, a skinny comedian from Peoria, Illinois, to shoot to crossover success with a ribald routine that emphasized the use of profanity, especially the N-word.
Spade! Hunky hunky! Dead hunky!
By the time Ronald Reagan was elected, Pryor had disavowed use of the term. But a new generation was taking the reins of pop culture. Everything was new, raw, and angry. The most visceral film of the late 1980s was Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, anchored by its profane, racist rant montage.
Dago Wab, Guinea, garlic bread, pizza slinging, spaghetti bending, Victimone, Perry Como, Luciano Pavarotti.
Fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big thigh, fast running. Take your fucking pizza and go back to Africa.
At the same time, hip-hop and rap storytelling gave new voice to young black Americans. On the West Coast, a group of young rappers called themselves NWA, with attitude, and their first underground album, Straight Outta Compton, featured 46 uses of the N-word. 3 years later, their album For Life featured 185 uses of the word and went to the top of the charts. The word gained new currency in popular culture. This music by, for, and about black and brown people became a dominant force in youth culture, spreading across the country, even to white suburbia.
But you know what's on my mind right now? It ain't the coffee in my kitchen. It's the dead in my garage.
But the word was too soaked in history for that to be the end of it. O.J. Simpson's trial of the century further electrified the national audience when a white police detective was found to have used the term frequently.
Kramer!
Once beloved Seinfeld star Michael Richards all but ended his career in 2006 at the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles with an N-word laced tirade at a black heckler that sounded like it was from an earlier century.
Oh my God.
The NFL has grappled with the issue repeatedly. Starting this year, the NFL now sometimes penalizes use of the word on the field, but that decision was met with vocal opposition by black players.
And so here we are. The country still can't agree how, when, or if one of the most vicious words in the vernacular should be embraced under its myriad new meanings or consigned to the trash heap of history. The United States, after all, has never existed without it.